Freddie Mercury, the iconic frontman of Queen, was a musical genius known for his incredible vocal range, flamboyant stage presence, and fearless self-expression. Mercury helped redefine what it meant to be a rock star. Theatrical, bold, and unapologetically unique. His performances were electric, his songwriting deeply moving, and his creativity unmatched. But by the late 1980s, rumors about his health began to surface as Mercury became increasingly private. For years, he kept his diagnosis a secret. Then, on November 23, 1991, Freddie publicly confirmed that he had AIDS, a disease still heavily stigmatized at the time. Just one day later, on November 24th, he died at age 45 from bronchial pneumonia, a complication related to AIDS, at his home in Kensington, London. His death sent shockwaves through the music industry and brought much-needed attention to the AIDS epidemic. In 1992, the Freddie Mercury tribute concert raised awareness and millions for AIDS research. His voice, his artistry, and his courage continue to inspire generations of fans and artists alike. Elvis Presley, widely known as the King of Rock and Roll, was one of the most influential cultural icons of the 20th century. Rising to fame in the mid-1950s, he captivated audiences with his deep, soulful voice, electrifying stage presence, and a groundbreaking blend of musical styles. Elvis didn't just perform music, he transformed it, bringing rock and roll into the mainstream and shaping American pop culture forever. Beyond music, he enjoyed a successful film career and was admired for his charisma and signature style. But behind the fame, his later years were marked by health problems and personal struggles. By the mid-1970s, his performances had lost their edge, his weight fluctuated, and signs of physical decline were obvious. Many believed it was linked to prescription drug abuse. On August 16, 1977, Elvis was found unresponsive in the bathroom of his Graceland mansion in Memphis, Tennessee. He was rushed to the hospital, but pronounced dead that afternoon. He was just 42 years old. The official cause of death was cardiac arrhythmia, though toxicology reports later revealed high levels of prescription drugs in his system. His death shocked the world. Thousands gathered outside Graceland in mourning. His passing sparked a national conversation about addiction, celebrity, and the pressures of fame. Yet even in death, his influence endured. Elvis Presley remains a legendary figure, immortalized through music, film, and cultural memory. The notorious B.I.G., also known as Biggie Smalls, was a lyrical genius who helped define the sound of 1990s East Coast hip-hop. With his deep voice, smooth flow, and vivid storytelling, Biggie quickly rose to the top of the rap game. As a central figure in the East Coast-West Coast rivalry, often seen as Tupac's counterpart, Biggie's influence was massive. Tragically, just 6 months after Tupac's death, Biggie was also killed. On March 9, 1997, while leaving a Vibe magazine after-party in Los Angeles, his SUV stopped at a red light near the Peterson Automotive Museum. A black Chevy Impala pulled up alongside, and an unknown gunman opened fire. Biggie was shot 4 times and later died at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center. He was only 24. His murder, also unsolved, deepened the sense of loss and violence plaguing the hip-hop community. Just weeks later, his album Life After Death was released posthumously to critical and commercial acclaim, cementing Biggie's status as a rap legend. John Lennon, a founding member of the Beatles, was more than a musician. He was a symbol of artistic freedom, social change, and peace. Known for his sharp wit, introspective lyrics, and political activism, Lennon shaped a generation both during and after his time with the Beatles. After the band's breakup in 1970, he embarked on a successful solo career and remained deeply engaged in activism, using his fame to advocate for causes like world peace and human rights. But tragedy struck on December 8, 1980. Earlier that day, Lennon had signed an autograph for a fan, Mark David Chapman. Hours later, Chapman returned, waiting outside Lennon's residence, the Dakota Building in New York City. As Lennon and his wife, Yoko Ono, arrived home from a recording session, Chapman fired 5 shots, hitting Lennon 4 times. John Lennon was rushed to Roosevelt Hospital, but was pronounced dead on arrival. He was just 40 years old. Chapman stayed at the scene and was arrested without resistance. The world was stunned. Fans gathered in cities around the globe to mourn a man who had inspired millions. Lennon's death not only marked the loss of a cultural giant, but also sparked renewed debate about gun violence, mental health, and the vulnerability of public figures. Today, his legacy lives on through his music, his activism, and the enduring message of peace he championed. Tupac Shakur was more than a rapper. He was a voice for the voiceless. Known for his poetic lyrics, raw emotion, and political commentary, Tupac became one of the most influential figures in hip-hop history. He wasn't just a musician, he was an actor, activist, and outspoken critic of inequality, using his platform to highlight the struggles faced by Black communities in America. But his life was marked by controversy and conflict, particularly during the height of the East Coast versus West Coast rap rivalry. On the night of September 7, 1996, after attending a Mike Tyson boxing match in Las Vegas and getting into a fight at the MGM Grand, Tupac was shot multiple times in a drive-by shooting while riding with Death Row Records CEO Suge Knight. A white Cadillac pulled up beside them and opened fire. Tupac was struck 4 times, including twice in the chest. He died 6 days later, on September 13th, at just 25 years old. His murder shocked the world and remains officially unsolved, fueling decades of conspiracy theories. For many, Tupac became a martyr-like figure, and his music, filled with anger, love, pain, and truth, still resonates with people across the world. Paul Walker was an American best known for his role as Brian O'Connor in the Fast and Furious film franchise. His charm, athleticism, and relatability made him a fan favorite. Off-screen, Walker was known for his humility, humanitarian work, and genuine love for cars and ocean life. He co-founded Reach Out Worldwide, a nonprofit focused on providing disaster relief to affected areas around the world. On November 30th, 2013, Walker was attending a charity event for his foundation when he took a ride in a Porsche Carrera GT with his friend and business partner Roger Rodas. The car crashed at high speed in Santa Clarita, California, striking a light pole and trees before bursting into flames. Both men were killed instantly. Walker was just 40 years old. His death devastated fans in the film community, especially as production for Furious 7 was underway. The emotional tribute in the film, featuring the song See You Again, offered a heartfelt farewell. His family continues his legacy through the Paul Walker Foundation, and he is remembered not only for his roles, but for his compassion, spirit, and generosity. Whitney Houston was one of the most powerful and beloved vocalists in music history. Known for her unmatched voice, emotional depth, and timeless hits like I Will Always Love You and Greatest Love of All, she achieved massive success in both music and film. Houston broke countless records, becoming one of the best-selling artists of all time. She inspired millions with her grace, beauty, and extraordinary talent, becoming a beacon for female artists and women of color worldwide. However, her life off stage was filled with personal challenges. Houston's highly publicized struggles with drug addiction and a turbulent marriage to Bobby Brown were often in the headlines. Despite attempts at a comeback, her health and vocal ability were visibly affected. On February 11, 2012, just hours before she was to attend a pre-Grammy party, Houston was found unconscious in her hotel bathtub at the Beverly Hilton. She was pronounced dead at 48. The coroner's report cited accidental drowning with heart disease and cocaine use as contributing factors. Her passing sent shockwaves through the music industry. Millions mourned the loss of a voice that had defined a generation. Houston's legacy lives on through her unforgettable performances, her influence on countless artists, and the timeless beauty of her music. Steve Irwin, famously known as the Crocodile Hunter, was an Australian wildlife expert and television personality who captivated global audiences with his fearless approach to interacting with animals and his boundless enthusiasm for wildlife education. He became beloved for his catchphrase, "Crikey," and his infectious energy, using his platform to raise awareness about endangered species and the importance of conservation. Irwin ran the Australia Zoo, continuing the work started by his parents and transforming it into a major center for animal care and education. On September 4, 2006, while filming a documentary titled Oceans Deadly near the Great Barrier Reef, Irwin tragically lost his life in a freak accident involving a stingray. During a break in filming, he entered shallow waters to film content for his daughter Bendy's children's show. As he swam over a stingray, it unexpectedly struck him in the chest with its tail, piercing his heart. Despite desperate efforts by his crew to revive him, Irwin died shortly after the incident at the age of 44. His death stunned fans worldwide and triggered a global wave of grief and tributes from conservationists, celebrities, and political leaders alike. His family, especially his wife Terry and children Bindi and Robert, have carried on his mission, preserving his legacy through continued conservation work. Heath Ledger was a gifted Australian actor whose career was marked by a mix of artistic range and emotional depth. His breakout roles in films like 10 Things I Hate About You and A Knight's Tale showcased his charm and talent, but it was his role in Brokeback Mountain that truly cemented him as a serious performer, earning him critical acclaim and an Academy Award nomination. Known for diving deep into his characters, Ledger became one of the most respected actors of his generation, admired for both his dedication and creativity. On January 22, 2008, Ledger was found dead in his New York City apartment at just 28 years old. At the time, he had recently completed filming his most demanding role to date, as the Joker in The Dark Knight. The role had reportedly taken a mental and physical toll, contributing to insomnia and emotional strain. An autopsy revealed he died from an accidental overdose of prescription medications, including sleeping aids, painkillers, and anti-anxiety drugs. His death shocked Hollywood and prompted important discussions about mental health, the pressures of fame, and prescription drug misuse. His final performance in The Dark Knight was hailed as one of the greatest in cinematic history, earning him a posthumous Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. Michael Jackson, known globally as the King of Pop, was one of the most transformative and celebrated artists in music history. From his early days in the Jackson 5 to his unparalleled success as a solo artist, Jackson revolutionized pop music with his groundbreaking videos, signature dance moves, and chart-topping hits like Thriller, Billie Jean, and Beat It. He broke racial barriers in the entertainment industry and built a legacy that transcended music, influencing fashion, dance, and popular culture around the world. In 2009, Jackson was preparing for a highly anticipated comeback tour titled This Is It, scheduled for London. Under immense pressure to deliver perfection, he was rehearsing intensely when tragedy struck. On June 25, 2009, he was found unresponsive at his Los Angeles home and later pronounced dead at the age of 50. The cause was cardiac arrest induced by acute propofol and benzodiazepine intoxication, administered by his personal physician, Dr. Conrad Murray, who was later convicted of involuntary manslaughter. The world mourned deeply. His memorial service was viewed by over 1 billion people. Despite the controversies that marked his later years, Jackson's musical genius and cultural contributions remain undeniable, and his influence continues to echo through generations of artists. Robin Williams was a beloved American actor and comedian known for his boundless energy, quick wit, and the emotional depth he brought to both comedic and dramatic roles. Rising to fame in the late 1970s, he became a household name with iconic performances in both television and film. Williams won an Academy Award and was celebrated for his ability to blend laughter with vulnerability, leaving a lasting impact on audiences worldwide. But behind the scenes, Williams battled depression and addiction for much of his life. In his final months, his health declined rapidly. He was initially misdiagnosed with Parkinson's disease, but it was later revealed that he had been suffering from Lewy body dementia, a rare and aggressive neurological disorder that severely affected his thinking, memory, and behavior. On August 11, 2014, Robin Williams died by suicide at the age of 63. His passing shocked fans, colleagues, and the world, sparking widespread conversations about mental health, especially among public figures. In the aftermath, tributes poured in, honoring not just his talent, but the joy and compassion he brought to millions. His legacy continues to shine through unforgettable performances and the awareness he helped raise for invisible battles. XXXTentacion, born Jassa Onfroy, was a rising star in the world of hip-hop and one of the most polarizing and influential artists of his generation. Known for his emotionally raw lyrics, genre-blending sound, and deeply personal music, he quickly amassed a massive following. His songs often explored themes of depression, heartbreak, and self-reflection, resonating particularly with younger audiences. Despite facing legal issues and a troubled personal life, he was seen by many as a deeply introspective and uniquely talented artist with the potential to shape music for years to come. On June 18, 2018, he was shot and killed during a robbery outside Riva Motorsports in Deerfield Beach, Florida. He was leaving the dealership in his BMW when two masked men ambushed him, blocking his car and fatally shooting him during an attempted robbery. He was only 20 years old. Surveillance footage and witness accounts led to the arrest of multiple suspects, with investigators confirming the killing was premeditated. The music community and his devoted fans were left in shock, mourning a young artist whose life ended just as he was beginning to evolve. In the years leading up to his death, he had begun showing signs of personal growth, speaking about change and taking steps toward redemption. His passing sparked debate, but also led to widespread tributes from fans, fellow artists, and public figures who recognized his talent and emotional depth. Though his time in the spotlight was short, his legacy remains powerful through his music and influence on a new generation of emotionally open hip-hop artists. Juice WRLD, born Jared Anthony Higgins, was another voice of a generation, blending melodic rap with deeply personal lyrics about heartbreak, addiction, and mental health. His freestyling ability and emotional honesty won him a devoted fan base, and he quickly became one of the leading figures in modern hip-hop. On December 8, 2019, Juice WRLD died after suffering a seizure at Chicago's Midway Airport. He had ingested multiple Percocet pills in an attempt to hide them from federal agents, leading to an accidental overdose of oxycodone and codeine. He was just 21 years old. His sudden death shocked the music world and reignited urgent conversations about drug use and the emotional toll of fame. Despite his short career, his influence lives on, shaping the next wave of hip-hop and emo rap artists. Kobe Bryant was one of the greatest basketball players in history. Over a legendary 20-year career with the Los Angeles Lakers, he won 5 NBA championships, earned 18 All-Star selections, and inspired millions with his relentless work ethic, known as the Mamba mentality. Off the court, he became a storyteller, businessman, and advocate for youth sports, even winning an Academy Award for a short animated film. On January 26, 2020, Kobe Bryant died in a tragic helicopter crash in Calabasas, California, along with his 13-year-old daughter Gianna and 7 others. The group was headed to a youth basketball game when their helicopter went down in heavy fog. The world mourned the sudden and heartbreaking loss. Murals, memorials, and tributes filled arenas and city streets. Kobe's legacy endures not only through his basketball achievements, but also through his commitment to excellence, family, and the growth of women's sports. Chadwick Boseman was a gifted actor who brought real-life heroes and cultural icons to the screen, including Jackie Robinson, James Brown, and most famously, T'Challa in Black Panther. With grace, strength, and dignity, Boseman became a symbol of hope and pride, especially for Black audiences around the world. Unbeknownst to many, Boseman had been privately battling stage 3 colon cancer since 2016, which later progressed to stage 4. Despite undergoing surgeries and chemotherapy, he continued to work on major films without revealing his illness to the public. On August 28, 2020, he passed away at the age of 43. His death came as a devastating shock, as fans and colleagues alike had no idea of his 4-year struggle. His legacy lives on in his groundbreaking performances, his quiet strength, and the powerful cultural impact of his work. Chadwick Boseman showed the world that true heroism often happens in silence. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you learned something or found it meaningful, be sure to leave a like and drop a comment sharing your thoughts or memories. And if you'd like to see a part 2 or more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks again, and goodbye.